Did you check your pocket change today? Because one small 25-cent coin might just be hiding a life-changing secret, there are rare errors and varieties in the 2001 New York quarter that collectors would pay a fortune to own. The 2001 New York quarter was the third coin released in the U.S. Mint's historic 50-state quarters program. It was launched on January 2, 2001, to honor the state that gave America the Statue of Liberty, Ellis Island, Wall Street, and one of the most iconic skylines in the world. But beyond the beauty of this quarter lies a secret. Certain coins have hidden errors that make them extremely rare, and incredibly valuable. Among these 1.2 billion quarters, a tiny number have errors or rare varieties that make them ultra-valuable, even museum-worthy. Let's explore the most valuable errors you should watch out for. Rare and valuable 2001 New York quarter errors and sales records. Off-center strike, value, up to $2,500. Double die obverse, DDO, $5,000 to $15,000, reverse cut die break, up to $10,000. These cuts make the coin unique and highly desirable. One cut example sold for $7,800 in 2022. Missing clad layer, value, $7,000 to $12,000 plus. In MS65 condition or higher, these coins have sold for over $10,000. Wrong planchet error, value, up to $120,000. One known example was a 2001 New York quarter struck on a Sacagawea dollar planchet, which sold for a mind-blowing $120,000 in a private sale in 2023.
The rare 1983p Washington quarter dollar reveal the jaw-dropping auction results and teach you how to spot the fortune hidden in your pocket change. 1983 was a major year for U.S. coins and particularly for the Washington quarter. Here's why no U.S. Mint sets were issued in 1982 or 1983 due to cost cutting. This means very few uncirculated 1983p quarters were saved. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 673 million quarters that year, but only a tiny fraction survive in mint condition. Double die obverse DDO. $500, $50,000 plus double die obverse errors happen when the coin die itself was misaligned during production. Off-center strike error, to $100, $7,000 plus. Examples with 60% off-center and visible date have sold for over $6,000. Missing clad layer error, $1,000, $10,000 plus. These have sold for $3,000 to $9,000 depending on grade and condition. Wrong planchet error, $5,000, $150,000 plus. Broad strike error, $150 to $1,500. Clipped planchet error, $100, $1,800. Reverse die break major cut, $300 for $1,000. Real auction prices prove that these coins. Let's take a look at real-world 1983p error coin sales. 1983p off-center quarter 50%, sold for $4,750. 1983p missing clad layer AU58, sold for $6,800. 1983p double die MS65, sold for $12,500. 1983p on wrong planchet 1 copper, estimated value $80,000 plus. 1983p broad strike MS66, sold for $1,850. These are real money being paid at major auctions. And the demand is only going up. How to identify 1983p errors like a pro? Use these tools and tips to search your quarters. Essential tools: 10x or 30x magnifying glass. Digital coin scale accurate to 0.01 grams. Bright LED light. Soft gloves. Reference error guides. What to look for: any coin that looks off-center, oddly colored, or lighter than normal. Doubling in the date, lettering, or motto. Flat rims, wide flanges, or melted-looking edges. Clipping, cracking, or blobs in the metal. Get it graded to maximize your value. If you suspect you have a rare 1983p error quarter, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS Professional Coin Grading Service, NGC Numismatic Guarantee Company. Grading confirms authenticity, describes and classifies errors. Significantly raises resale value, protects your investment. A graded MS65 error coin can be worth 10x more than an ungraded one.
Hold on tight, coin lovers. because what you're about to see will completely shock you. Imagine stumbling across a simple 1999p Connecticut quarter in your pocket change, a coin most people overlook without a second glance. But what if I told you that some of these Connecticut quarters hold a secret so rare? We're not talking about some fantasy value. These are real prices paid by serious collectors for Connecticut quarters with rare era varieties so unique, they're considered national treasures in the numismatic world. The Connecticut quarter was the fifth release in the U.S. Mint's 50-state quarters program, launched in 1999. It commemorates the Constitution State, featuring the iconic charter oak tree on the reverse, a powerful symbol of American liberty and resistance. More than 1.3 billion Connecticut quarters were minted in Philadelphia alone, making it a very common coin, but the rare errors make specific specimens extremely desirable and valuable. The excitement becomes real when we look at actual auction results. 1999p Connecticut quarter, DDR MS 68, sold at Heritage Auctions for $27,500. Off-center 1999p Connecticut quarter, 35% realized $38,200 at Stack's Bowers. Clipped planchet, 35% clip sold for $12,300. Double die obverse in MS 67, auctioned for $18,600. Possible mule, private sale estimate rumored to be valued over $133,500 if brought to public sale. These are real figures, paid by collectors and institutions who know the value of these minting mistakes. How to identify these rare errors? Here's what to look for in your collection or pocket change to spot one of these ultra-valuable quarters. Use a 10x magnifier. Check for doubling in text and design, especially on Liberty and the tree branches. Weigh the coin. A genuine quarter should weigh 5.67 grams. Any significant variation could point to a wrong planchet error. Examine the rims. Off-center and broad-struck coins often have partial or missing reeded edges. Check for shape defects. Clipped or misaligned planchets are easily visible by eye. Look for curves or missing segments. Use lighting tricks. A side light can help reveal doubling and subtle minting errors.
The 1966 Washington quarter dollar. Explore the fascinating errors that make them valuable and teach you how to spot these hidden gems. So, grab your coin collection and let's dive into the world of rare quarters. The 1966 Washington quarter holds a unique place in U.S. coinage history. Here's why. Transition from silver to clad composition. The Coinage Act of 1965 eliminated silver from dimes and quarters, introducing a copper-nickel clad composition starting in 1965. The 1966 quarter was part of this significant transition. N.Wikipedia.org. Double die reverse DDR $100 to $1,000 plus. Off-center strike $50, $500 plus. Struck through errors $20 to $100 plus. Clipped planchet, $30, $150 plus. Broad strike error, $50 to $150 plus. Real auction price is proof that these coins. Let's look at some real-world sales. 1966 quarter MS68 Plus, sold for $21,000 at Heritage Auctions in 2023. Opening parenthesis Gainesvillecoins.com. 1966 SMS quarter SB68 DCAM. Sold for $6,500. 1966 quarter with DDR in XF for $5. Sold for $920. These sales demonstrate the high demand and value of rare 1966 quarters. How to identify 1966 quarter errors like a pro. Essential tools, magnifying glass, to spot minute details and errors. Pinterest.com. Digital scale, to check the coin's weight. Deviations can indicate errors. Coin-identifier.com. Coin reference guides, books or online resources to compare and identify errors. What to look for. Doubling. Check for doubled letters or images, especially on the reverse. N.Wikipedia.org. Misalignments. Look for off-center designs or missing elements. Surface anomalies. Identify any unusual marks, impressions, or missing sections. Get it graded to maximize your value. If you believe you have a valuable 1966 quarter, professional grading. Submit your coin to reputable grading services like PCGS or NGC. Authentication. Grading confirms the coin's authenticity and condition, increasing its market value. Protection. Graded coins are encapsulated, preserving their condition.
What if one single quarter, struck in 2002, forgotten in jars and drawers, could turn you into the next coin millionaire? Today we're diving deep into the mind-blowing story of the 2002 D Ohio quarter, a coin that, under normal conditions, is worth just 25 cents. But with certain rare minting errors, You're about to discover how this everyday coin from the state quarters program became a hidden gem in numismatics. We'll expose the secret error varieties, walk through their history and origin, explore real auction sales, and break down how you can check your own quarters for this unimaginable treasure. Released on March 18, 2002, the Ohio quarter was the 17th coin issued in the United States Mint's 50-state quarters program, commemorating Ohio's rich contribution to the nation's history. The Denver Mint struck approximately 414,832,000 Ohio quarters, and hidden among them, a tiny handful contain errors so rare and bizarre, collectors are shelling out six figures to acquire them. Actual sales and auction results. Let's look at real-life sales that prove just how valuable this quarter can be. 2002 D Ohio DDR in MS-68, sold for $27,300 at Stack's Bowers. Off-center, 60%, with mint mark, sold for $74,500 at Heritage Auctions. Wrong planchet strike, 2.3 G, private sale for $112,100. Clad layer missing, certified MS-67, sold for $12,700. Mule error estimate, valued at $130,250 to $155,500 based on rarity. Broad strike / partial collar combo, sold for $22,800 on eBay, authenticated. How to spot these error coins in your change? Want to find one of these fortune-making errors? Here's how. Use a jeweler's loupe or magnifier, 10x+. Check all text, especially Liberty, for doubling. Weigh the coin. A normal Ohio quarter weighs 5.67 G. Anything significantly off might be a wrong planchet. Examine the rim. Broad strikes and off-center errors often have a stretched or uneven rim. Look for unusual color. A red or golden color may indicate a missing clad layer. Compare with known examples. Use online images and certified grading databases like PCGS CoinFacts or NGC Variety Plus.
We're diving deep into the 1981 P Washington quarter dollar, exploring the rarest errors, the history behind the coin, and showing you exactly what to look for. You could be one coin away from an incredible payday. Stay tuned. The Washington quarter was first issued in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. It was meant to be a one-year design, but it proved so popular that it became the standard quarter design for decades. How to identify a 1981 P quarter? Here's what you need to know about the regular strike, 1981 P Washington quarter. Obverse front, portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. Reverse back, bald eagle with outstretched wings, perched on a bundle of arrows. Mint mark. The P mint mark for Philadelphia is located on the obverse to the right of Washington's ponytail. Metal composition, 91.67% copper, 8.33% nickel clad over copper. Weight, 5.67 grams. While most of these coins are only worth face value, a small number contain rare errors that make them incredibly valuable. Off-center strike error, $500 $5,000 plus or more with dramatic misalignment, 5 to 10% off-center, $100 $300, 20 to 40% off-center, $1,000 plus. Double die obverse DDO, $1,000, $50,000 plus. In high-grade MS66 plus, a strong double die 1981 P quarter could easily sell for $10,000 $50,000 or more. Broad strike error, $500 $3,000 plus. Missing clad layer error, $1,000 $7,000 plus, struck on the wrong planchet. $1 to $1,000 $100,000 plus depending on planchet. Record-breaking sales of 1981 P error quarters. Let's take a look at some actual sales and auction results that showcase the real-world value of these coins. 1981 P quarter with dramatic off-center error and full date, sold for $3,500. Double die 1981 P quarter in MS65, sold for $12,000, struck on foreign planchet Philippine 25 centavo, sold for $65,000. Broad strike with strong strike and luster sold for $2,800. Missing clad layer, mint state sold for $4,400. Imagine finding one of these in your change life-changing money from a 25 coin.
we uncover the mind-blowing secrets of the 1999 Georgia State Quarter, the fourth in the U.S. Mint's 50 State Quarter series. Released in July 1999, the Georgia Quarter features the iconic peach and oak design, something you pass by every day. But tucked among the nearly 1 billion coins minted, a few astounding error varieties have surfaced. We'll expose the error types that make these coins priceless, delve into real sales stories, show you how to identify them in your collection, and explain why these seemingly ordinary quarters could send collectors into a frenzy. Real auction and sale examples: Gold Tone Georgia Quarter, MS65 certified, sold for $33,470, lush golden toning and thick planchet. Gold Tone, top grade MS66, realized $50,250 in a private sale. A double-struck die cap example, auctioned at $38,100. Off-center 35%, PCGS certified, sold for $18,000. Combo error, double strike plus clipped planchet hit $21,500. Some of these remarkable specimens even reach valuations approaching $85,100, especially if certified MS67 plus and exhibiting multiple errors. How to find and identify these coins, tips to detect coin treasure, color and weight. Gold tone equals experimental planchet, 5.96.3 G versus 5.67 G, weigh your suspect coins. Edge inspection, missing copper stripe, thicker rim. Die doubling, use 10x loop and check text, peach branches, border. Off-center, is part of the peach or state outline missing at rim? Planchet defects, cracks, clips, unusual texture. Certification, PCGS or NGC ensures value and authenticity. Protecting and selling your find, do not clean, natural patina increases value. Store in non-PVC flips or hard acrylic holders. Get graded, PCGS/NGC, essential for middle to upper five-figure sales. Auction options, Heritage, Stax Bowers, great collections, top tier for premium errors. Smaller errors can be sold through reputable dealers or marketplace, but avoid shady dealers.
That right, a single quarter from 1979 D Washington quarter dollar could change your life. And today, I'm going to show you exactly what makes this coin so incredibly rare and valuable. The Washington quarter was first minted in 1932, originally intended as a one-year commemorative coin for George Washington's 200th birthday. However, due to its popularity, it became a regular issue coin, continuing on for decades with minor design changes. Off-center strike 10 to 90%. 5 to 10% off-center, $50 to $150, 50% off-center, showing full date and D. $5,000, $10,000, double die obverse DDO. Mild doubling, $500 to $1,000. Strong doubling, $10,000, $30,000 plus. Clipped planchet error. Clean clip with visible date. D mint mark, $1,000, $3,000. Major clip with eye appeal, $5,000 plus. Wrong planchet error. Quarter struck on a penny blank, $10,000, $50,000. Quarter struck on foreign planchet, $50,000, $150,000. Auction prices and market value. The market for error coins, especially Washington quarters, has exploded in recent years. Let's look at some real auction results for 1979 D error quarters. 1979 D quarter on a copper penny planchet, 3.1 grams. Sold for $48,875 at Heritage Auctions. Graded MS65 by PCGS, 1979 D quarter struck on dime planchet to 0.2 grams. Sold for $10,500, off-center 1979 D quarter with 70% strike. Sold for $15,000, perfect off-center with visible date and full details. Double die obverse error, authenticated by NGC. Estimated at $25,000, $40,000, depending on condition. What makes these coins sell for so much? How to identify a high-value 1979 D error. Here's a step-by-step checklist to help you spot these valuable errors. Look at the mint mark. Make sure your coin has a D mint mark for Denver. Located to the right of Washington's ponytail. Check the weight. Use a digital scale. A normal quarter should weigh 5.67 grams. If it's significantly lighter or heavier, it may be struck on the wrong planchet. Inspect the coin edges. Look for partial colors, a sign of a striking issue. A clean cut or crescent shape could indicate a clipped planchet. Step 4. Use a magnifying glass.
Say hello to the 2006 North Dakota quarter, seemingly ordinary. In this video, we're diving into the rarest errors minted in Philadelphia that flipped this pocket change quarter into an ultra-valuable treasure. From striking it on a steel washer, clad lamination, massive die cuts, to off-center and die cap anomalies, and teach you how to spot one of these golden coins before it vanishes into someone else's collection. August 28, 2006, 39th coin in the State Quarters Program, Philadelphia, P, produced 305.8 million coins, while billions were minted in circulation. Faulty minting equipment, planchet mix-ups, and die were occasionally unleashed coins with dramatic errors, and some are so rare, they command 5 or even 6-figure sums. Keycap 2. Steel washer quarter, MS62 PCGS struck to sale for an undisclosed private collection price. Grading and rarity suggests top-tier value between $44,200 to $66,200. Coins.ha.com, en.wikipedia.org. Clad lamination, full copper eBay sale for $1,800. Similar but sharper examples have soared to $12,000 to $28,220. eBay.com. Large cut error, reverse offered at $55. Buy it now. Well-defined examples sell for $5,000 to $18,000. eBay.com. Multiple error listings, sold in the hundreds, but certified combos, e.g. cut plus lamination, can fetch $28,220 to $44,200 on premium market. Identifying these errors in your change. White heavy checkmark. A quick checklist, magnet test plus weight scale, magnetic and 2.6G, that's your steel washer error. Look for color issues, reddish or golden hues equals laminated copper. Inspect edges for cuts. Bulbous blobs on the rim or design edges indicate die breaks. Off-center and die caps. Notice missing design around edges or warped surfaces. Use a 10x loop. Look for planchet separation or die chips near mint date/logo. Seek authentication. Send potential winners to PCGS, NGC, or Annex. Certified high-grade examples bring the money.
The 1982 P Washington quarter dollar might look ordinary, but a hidden error could make it one of the most valuable modern quarters ever struck. Stick around as we reveal the top errors, how to spot them, and real-world auction prices that will blow your mind. The year 1982 was a turning point in U.S. coinage. Due to economic pressure and rising metal prices, the U.S. Mint was making subtle and major changes. This was also the time they were cutting costs by reducing the use of mint sets, meaning fewer high-grade coins were saved by collectors. Double die obverse DDO, $1,000, $50,000 plus. Some of these have fetched $10,000 to $30,000 at auction, and in pristine MS66 or higher, $50,000 is possible. Off-center strike error, $200, $5,000 plus. 5 to 10% off-center, $100 at $300, 40 to 60% off-center with full date, $3,000 plus. Over 75% off-center with clear features, $5,000 or more. Missing clad layer, $500, $7,500 plus. These coins have sold for $1,500, $7,500, and some experts believe a perfect example could fetch $15,000 plus. Wrong planchet error, to $1,000, $100,000 plus. The most valuable of these coins can bring $20,000, $100,000, depending on the metal and rarity. Broad strike or partial color strike, $300 at $3,000. Clipped planchet error, $100, $1,500. Recent auction prices and market buzz. Let's check some real-world sales to show just how hot this coin is. 1982 P off-center 50% strike, sold for $3,000 to $150. 1982 P missing clad layer, MS64, sold for $4,900. 1,980 to pence double die obverse, MS65, sold for $9,800. 1980 to be struck on a foreign planchet, estimated at $65,000 plus. Broad strike, uncirculated, sold for $2,700. With collector demand rising and fewer 1982 mint sets out there, high-quality error coins are skyrocketing in value. How to identify these valuable errors? Examine lettering and date. Look for doubling or distortions. Check the weight. A normal quarter weighs 5.67 grams. If yours weighs less or more, check for planchet issues. Edge color. Is it coppery? Could be a missing clad layer. Size and shape. Oddly shaped coins may be broad-struck or clipped. Listen to the coin. Coins with missing layers or different metals sound duller when dropped. Essential tools for coin hunters: 10 by -30x magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Digital scale accurate to 0.01 grams. Error coin reference guides. You spot a visible error. The coin is in uncirculated condition. You suspect it's struck on the wrong planchette or missing clad layer.
The 2000p South Carolina quarter is hiding some of the rarest, most jaw-dropping mint errors ever released into circulation. We're talking about wrong planchettes, striking mules, double dies, massive off-center clobbers, clipped planchettes, and even the legendary Sacagawea State quarter mule. In today's video, I'll reveal the little-known history behind this quarter. The exact error types that turn 25 cents into tens of thousands. Real auction results proving these coins exist, right now. June 12, 2000, the sixth coin in the State Quarter series, Philadelphia Mint struck about 373 million of these, George Washington Profile, Flanagan. Despite the large mintage, Philadelphia's minting process sometimes faltered, resulting in a small number of rare, high-value minting errors. Puzzle piece real auction results and market proof. 2000D Sacagawea/SC Mule, MS64 sold for $66,000, GraysHEET.com, CoinWorld.com. DDO/DDR examples, high-grade graded specimens have gotten $44,200 to $66,200 in private sales. Extreme Off-Center, 50%, quarter achieved $55,000 at auction. Clipped plus broad strike combo certified into high grade sold for $28,220. Exceptional mule coins, Philadelphia examples, are expected to land in six figures, potentially $77,120 to $123,550, if ever discovered and verified. These values align with documented CPWG and auction trends. How to spot your potential $123,000 quarter? Use an industrial magnet, where magnetic behavior means wrong planchette. Weigh it. Quarter should be 5.67 G, mule on dollar blank equals around 8.1 G, CoinWorld.com. Examine with 10 times magnifier, look for doubling on text and designs. Check alignment, scan for off-center strike missing edge detail. Look for clips or bulges. Rim irregularities equals clipped planchette or broad strike. Document and photograph every angle. Symmetrical flaws are easier to certify. Submit to PCGS/NGC. Certification in high grade confirms value credibility. So, what makes one 1965 quarter worth just face value while another could pay off a brand new car, or even a big chunk of your mortgage? Stick with me until the very end of this video, because we're diving deep into the mystery, history, and rare errors of the 1965 Washington quarter dollar that hide secrets worth tens of thousands of dollars, the historical. To understand why the 1965 Washington quarter is so fascinating, you have to step back in time. 1965 was a pivotal year in U.S. coinage history. For decades, quarters, dimes, and half dollars had been minted in 90% silver. But by the mid-1960s, the United States faced a massive coin shortage. Rising silver prices made coins more valuable for their metal than their face value. People were hoarding silver coins left and right, and the U.S. Mint knew something had to change. Double die errors. Coins struck with a double design show extra details, especially in the lettering or date. Off-center strikes. If the coin wasn't centered properly in the press, you might see part of the design missing. Clipped planchettes. Coins with a piece missing from the edge, almost like a bite was taken out. How to identify if you have one? Now let's get practical. How do you know if your 1965 quarter could be worth a small fortune? Weight test. Normal clad quarters copper nickel weigh 5.67 grams. Silver planchette quarters weigh 6.25 grams. A simple jewelry scale can instantly tell you if your coin is suspicious. Edge test. Modern clad quarters show a copper-colored stripe on the edge. A silver quarter will look solid silver all the way through. Sound test. Tap a silver quarter and it has a higher, ringing tone. A clad coin has a duller sound. If you find a 1965 quarter that passes these tests, you might just be holding a jackpot in your hands. Auction records, the big money. Now let's talk real numbers, the kind of figures that make collectors' jaws drop. One 1965 silver quarter error sold for nearly $7,000 in circulated condition. A higher-grade specimen fetched $12,650 at auction, but here's the mind-blowing part: pristine, near-perfect examples graded by PCGS and NGC have sold for $70,000 to $77,000 and $85,000. That's the power of rarity and condition combined. What if I told you that one of the most ordinary quarters minted in the year 2000, we're diving into one of the rarest, most valuable coin error stories of modern US coinage. Imagine this: simple mistakes like misaligned dies, broad strikes, or the legendary mule errors. Release date, October 16, 2000. The 10th, and final, state design for that year in the U.S. Mint's 50-state quarters program, 3 ships commemorating the Jamestown landing, encircled with Virginia, 2000, Jamestown 1607-2007, and E Pluribus Unum, coinappraiser.com. Despite its huge mintage, a defective press and die degradation led to several rare, unique misstruck errors. Some of the most extreme mint anomalies found in modern circulating coins: 2000p Sacagawea Mule, Washington Quarter Ob, $, Rev, sold for $88,125 in 2013 at Heritage, en.wikipedia.org, coinworld.com, the-sun.com. 2000p die misaligned Virginia Quarter, unverified sales, have fetched $30,000 to $50,120. Extreme off-center specimens with certification have sold for $50,000 plus. High-grade double strikes or cut-heavy full mint state coins have traded in $12,000 to $25,000 private deals. No mule is confirmed yet, but if one surfaces, estimating MS66 at $953,650, based on the Sacagawea Mule standard and rarity, en.wikipedia.org. How to spot your 6-figure coin: inspect for mismatched sides. Examine both sides closely, quarter obverse on Sacagawea reverse or vice versa. Check centering and rim. Broad strike. Die misalignment, missing reading. Look for disrupted edge textures. Use 10 times loop for die errors. Look for cut blobs on rim or weak die details, doubling, or grease clogs. Photograph from all angles. Ensure every strike detail is visible for grading submission. Submit to PCGS/NGC as error variety. Supplement costs are worth it. The difference between uncertified and certified can be 6-figure.